What's up, everybody? This is MLS Benis Amiel, and today we'll be looking at how to analyze our lab results for better understanding of the data that we have generated at the lab. So to do that, let's create a new sheet. So let me rename this sheet as test analysis. Okay. Now to do this analysis, we would have to insert a pivot table. So you go to insert and you click on pivot table. Then you select where your table is. Our table is at results. This is a data on the results obtained from a lab. So we are going to either click Ctrl A to select all the data, or you can select just the first cell and then use Shift Ctrl plus the arrow key to the right and the arrow key down to select everything. Then you press OK. Once you do that, the pivot table is inserted here, and as you can see, we are having information on time, age ranges, sex, department, then the various lab tests that has been conducted, the results from the lab. So let's say as a lab manager, you would like to know the age ranges of the people who come to your lab against their gender. So you pick the age ranges and put it at rows, and you pick the gender for it to be counted. Now, because we have male and female, you would want to put the gender in columns. So now if you look at the pivot table here, we have male against females, and the females are slightly higher than their male counterpart. But let's take a look at what we have here. You realize that the age ranges here is not in order as we wanted. So to arrange it in order, we will click on the filter here and go to sort and go to more options. Then let's say that we would manually drag them to arrange. So you click on OK, and now you arrange them. So we have children under 5 and we want that at the top. So you put your cursor on it until it shows the move sign, and then you lift it to the top, followed by 4 to 12 years. So we select that one and we move that under that. Then 12 to 22, that's fine. 22 to 44, 45 to 54, and so perfect. So now you realize that majority of your clients are within the 23 to 44 bracket. That's the working group or the young adult. And you can decide to have a more pictorial view of your data. So to do that, you select the pivot table and you go to insert recommended chart. So since this data is few, you can choose any of these that you would like to use to represent your data. But I think for this case, the pie chart is fine. All right. So there you go. You have your age ranges over there. Now, I wouldn't want to go so deep into editing this visualization or this pie chart, because it will be captured in subsequent courses or subsequent trainings. So that's that with the age ranges. So for those of us who do monthly report for malaria, for instance, let's go through that. I just want to select this pivot table since it has all the same information I'll be using. All right. If not, and you'll be using another table, then you have to go through the first process and select the table that you are using. So now, let's say for the purpose of our malaria reporting, where we report the various age ranges against the wards or against the OPD, and we look at those that are positives and those that are negative. For those of us who are familiar with the malaria reporting sheet, usually the age ranges are at the top, right? Then the various departments are over here. Now we want to count how many malaria RDTs were done within the period. So we would put that one here. Okay. But the malaria RDT can be positive or negative. And so we'll put that here. So classically, this is how the form looks like. But if you have to copy this into the form, it looks so clumsy and very difficult to trace. So what we can do is, let's say if you want to copy that for OPD, you can collapse those for the ward. Or better still, we can come to the filter here and take out everybody and leave out those that are OPD. So add the antenatal to the OPD. Okay. And then we will add it to our table. So you realize that the antenatal cases were negative, falling for the 23 to 44 age bracket. For those in OPD, we have you realize that under OPD, we have some missing data. Sorry. You realize that under OPD, this data here is missing. Okay. This particular row is missing. So we would have to exclude that from our data. So, okay. So I come back to the filter and I want to take out all the blanks. Okay. You realize that during data entry, people entered spaces. So I'm taking that out now. Good. So now we have the OPD cases under 5 years were 11 and they were all negative. So you can easily copy this on your sheet without having to go through the tally count. And likewise, you can do that for the wards. So this time around, you select the various wards. So we take out the ANC and the OPD. And then we have the various wards. And you can easily copy this information into the chart. So this is how you can quickly do your malaria reporting. And likewise, if your HIV results are captured on your software, your DIMS, or if you are using Excel, if you are using Access, then it will be easy to repeat this same process for your HIV monthly reporting. Now let's talk about something else. So let's paste the pivot table again. Okay, so let me do away with the previous analysis we just did, and let's talk about other analysis. All right. Now, so let's say that as a lab manager or as a lab scientist, you would want to probably investigate the maybe total electrophoresis tests that were done, and you want to know the various results that came, and you want to compare it to, let's say, the gender. All right, so now you have male to female and the electrophoresis results, but you realize that we have AC grand total, but this doesn't have a label. So you need to check with your filter, and you realize that it's empty space or missing value. So you have to do away with that one. And then now you can have the correct data. So the HbA were 4 and the AC were 3. And you realize that you have the males doing it more than the females, and probably you want to look whether these cases came from the ward or from the OPD. So you can do that. Just pick it and pick the department, and then you can put that here. Let me go back. So we can pick the department and bring it to the top here. All right. And then there we go. So we have the female ward requesting 3. So you realize that all the cases for the electrophoresis. Okay. So let me include the rest. Beautiful. Though this makes it a bit clumsy, now let's do away with the missing results. Perfect. So you realize that for the electrophoresis cases, for male ward, there was a request from the male ward and only one request from the ward, and the rest were from the OPD. And out of the cases from the OPD, 3 were A and 3 were AC. So quickly you can be analyzing things like this and looking at your data, and where you need a graph, you can go to insert and then insert the preferred graph. So let's say finally you would want to look at let's say, so I'm taking these off. Let's say you want to look at the various departments and the average WBC count. So if you look here, you realize that it is summing up the HB, but maybe we just want a count, the total FBC request or HB requests that were made from the various units, not a sum. So you click on the arrow here, and then you move to value field settings, and then you can change it to count. Okay. So it will count the total HB tests that are available. 88 were from the OPD, and the rest were from the wards. 3 were from A and C, sorry, and the rest from the ward. So you can tell that majority of the cases definitely are coming from the OPD. And if you want, let's say, an average of, so I'm adding HP to the next column, because this time around, let's say I want to look at the average HP. Okay, so you select average, then OK. So let's change this to 1 decimal place. So I'm selecting everything, then using this arrow, I'll move it to just 1 decimal place. Okay. So averagely, if you look at the cases we have here, the antenatals are not doing so bad. And the female ward cases that came in were quite anemic. Maternity ward were normal. And the OPD were a bit below, a bit anemic. But let's not forget that if you have more data to consider, it's more representative than just having one data, which could be a chance. So basically, you can be analyzing your data in such a manner and make better or informed decisions. Okay. So for instance, if you have your clinicians thinking that now there's a number of malaria cases that are coming up, lots of them are positive, for instance, you can quickly go through your analysis and check if this is so or not. Or as lab scientists, we would want to investigate our cases, for instance, with the HP, and then give an assurance to our wards that, for instance, female ward should be a bit alert when it comes to HP, because the number of cases coming in are often severe anemia. So these are things that we can add to our jobs to give more value, add more value to ourselves. I would want to go through everything, but I believe that with these basics, you would be able to do the required analysis that you need. Thank you.